Alright guys, we're back with round 5 Edison Format at Epik Cards and Games in Hurst, Texas. We have Vinh on the left playing Vayu Turbo versus the return of Donnell Dnasty on the right playing Amaryllis. This tournament was 5 rounds of Swiss, could have top 4. Both these guys are X1s. Our winner here is going to get the last spot in top 4. We had enough players. I think we need at least 17 in order to get 7 rounds total. So, because it's rare when I get the 5th round of Swiss. It's only happened a few times out of all the tournaments I've uploaded on the channel. Now, some of you guys have been wondering where Donnell's been. He's kind of moved on to Advanced Yu-Gi-Oh! So he's not playing as much Edison. He's not really playing Edison anymore. But he came back for this particular tournament. We'll see if he can get another top 4. Now, Vinh is kind of new. I think this is only like the 2nd or 3rd time I featured him on the channel. So we'll see if he can get into Top Cut to join myself, the Sheriff, and Tristan, who's on his channel debut. So this is a pretty good opening. Me having played so much Vayu Turbo this year, Stardust can be hard to deal with turn 1. Because it stops like all your Raikos, Hamster potentially. As long as you don't walk into Deep Prison, it's just hard to deal with. Most people don't main deck Compulse in Vayu. Alright, so here Donnell sets a back row, and I'm guessing he's going to pass to Vinh. Yes, passes to Vinh. But who am I going to root for in this match? Me playing Blackwing, I'd much rather go up against Donnell, so I'm going to root for Donnell. The Vayu matchup, from what I've heard, in my just experience, the Vayu versus Blackwing matchup, I would say Vayu is slightly favored. Alright, here comes Trap Dust Shoot from Vinh. And Donnell's hand is Hidden Armory, D Prison, Raiko, Lone Fire. So that Trap Dust Shoot saved him. Because if he gets Titanium Stardust with multiple tokens, that's it. I like, honestly, when I have faced Donnell throughout like all my time playing Vayu Turbo, I struggled against him when I'm playing Vayu and he's playing Amaryllis. I've definitely struggled against him. Versus when he's played Blackwings, I've been able to beat him with Vayu when he's played Blackwings, unless if he opened like, you know, Whirlwind and stuff like that. So Stardust, run over the Hamster. So this opens up Donnell to Caius, but he really didn't have a choice. So he chose not to set the D Prison, which I don't know what his other back row is, but maybe he should have set the D Prison. But again, it all comes down to that other back row. So list tells us Vinh does not have Caius. Also, I think Vinh is on the Sizzle 41. It's like become such a... It's been the standard Vayu Turbo list this past year. Like, occasionally you'll see some tweaks. Like, some people will play 40. But most Vayu lists are all the same. Alright, so here Donnell's going to pop the one that he doesn't know. He knows that one's Raiko. So, Mills, he'll be able to attack over that set with his own Raiko. Like I said, against Vayu, you just got to protect that Stardust. So he runs over the Raiko. Vin's going to choose just to mill. Mills Caius, Deck Dev, Bottomless. And looks like he's passing to Vinh. So he chose to attack with Stardust. Alright, so Donnell does not fear D Prison. 65 to 8k. Donnell sets probably the D Prison. Oh, he's going to play Hidden Armory. Mills, his baby mama, Titanium. That's what Donnell calls Titanium, his baby mama. Alright, so what's he going to grab off Hidden Armory? Grabs Mark of the Rose. And Vinh drew Brain Control, but he milled a Caius, so that Brain Control... I mean, he could have Sirocco, though, to get the Stardust off the field. So he's going to return Brain Control Card Trooper. So do you summon Card Trooper and try to get lucky and mill because That'll help out your return. Maybe. That seems like the play. Okay, so Card Trooper mills Burial, Caius, Dash, so his second Caius, and the Dark Arm. I've talked about this a lot in the past when it comes to Vayu Turbo. Like, if you guys watched round 4, then against me, he milled Necro, Plague, Vayu, and Sirocco. But here, he milled 2 of his power cards. It's like, that's the pros and cons of playing Vayu Turbo. Right, there are games when you mill your return, your Dark Arm, your Burial, and you lose. And there are games when you mill Vayu, Sirocco, Plague, and you win. So, I mean, I guess you can make the same argument with Lightsworn, but it's a little different with Vayu Turbo because you don't need to mill well to win with Vayu. It's just like a bonus. It's a lot like Burning Abyss when they would go like Dante, mill 3, and then they would mill like Graph and Seer for those guys who played during BA format. Alright, so here comes Mark of the Rose. This is going to help Donnell mill. Mill 3, mills Trade-In, Card Trooper, and Titanial. Now, you weren't afraid of D-Prison last turn, so maybe he'll hit him again. So he hits him for 19. Leaving Vinh at what, 44? Or 46. I mean, you weren't afraid of D-Prison last turn, so... Donnell taking his sweet time. Honestly, I still think Javi might be slower than Donnell at playing. Because Donnell doesn't constantly check his back rows like Javi does. So, yeah, Javi might be slower than Donnell, which is saying something. But it's close. Alright, so 46, 63... So Vinh Mirror Force, probably because he doesn't want to take that damage. He knows Donnell has Mark of the Rose in hand. And yeah, it's always like you don't want to get too low against Amaryllis. They'll just steal games from you like that. Same thing with when you're playing against Black Wings. Alright, so he flips up his Rhoda. Now this, I think he should have milled before he did anything. I believe he has Grepher in his hand, but still you might... If you mill the Necro, you might want a Rhoda for Armageddon Knight instead. So, yeah, I think maybe just mill first. I think, but I could be wrong. I'm trying to think what's the bonus. Yeah, because you want to have more Vayus and Siroccos in... Or maybe you hit a Plague. Yeah, he should have milled first with Card Trooper. Because if you mill the Plague... It changes everything. Then you play the Rhoda, and then you can like stack a card that you don't want on top of your deck. Yep, he should have milled, but he milled Vayu. Milled Gores, which I don't like Gores against Amaryllis. I tend to side it out. I mean, this is game 1, but I'm just saying I tend to side it out because if I'm... The only good thing about it is you can trade... Like, if you draw it early game, right? I don't want to draw a mid to late game against Amaryllis, but early game, you can at least trade with Titanium, but that's like the only time it's going to be good. Alright, so here he goes for Goyo, but if he has a D-Prison, and there's a D-Prison from Donnell, and Card Trooper run over one of the tokens, the Card Trooper is marked, so he sets one, he's got Return and Brain, takes the Card Trooper, and Donnell's going to abuse Vinh's Card Trooper, mills another Prison, Heavy, and Card Destruction. Is this not game? Oh, Miracle Fur? Yeah, this looks like game. I think he has Return, and he's going to be forced to flip it, and yeah, he picks up his cards. He's drawing into Brain Control, that's game. So, Dnasty. I think Vinh was going to lose anyway, but he should have milled for Card Trooper before he played the Rhoda. Just to see your options. So Donnell, on his return, 1 win away from guaranteeing that spot in top 4. Again, I'm rooting for Donnell just because if I face him, I think I'm going to have an easier time versus him than Vinh. Okay, so game 2. Vinh sets some monsters at the background, passes to Dnasty. Here comes Space. Space is the oppression. Summon Card Trooper, mill 3, mills Titanium, Morphing Jar, and Torrential. This is unfortunate. Yeah, this is such a bad feeling when they trooper your Raikou. Now he didn't pop it here, which I think he should have, and I'm explaining why. Because if Donnell can protect the Card Trooper, you don't want him to mill again. You don't want him to mill Dandelion or Amaryllis. So yeah, I think he should have popped the Card Trooper. Okay, here he mills Return and Vayu. So this is kind of like, again, I talked about with Vayu Turbo. Like, you milled a Vayu, but you also milled one of your best cards. So like a lot of times when I'm in this situation, when I have because I play Upstart in my Vayu Turbo deck, which most people don't. I'll mill first and then I'll Upstart and just hope I don't mill my bombs. Anyways, luckily Vinh didn't get punished here. But Donnell is going to draw for Card Trooper, and Vinh sets one and passes to Donnell. Okay, I think Vinh has Brain Control in his hand. Now I tend to side that card out against Amaryllis because I don't want to draw it staring down Titanium on 2 tokens. So that's why I side it out versus them. I'm trying to think in what scenario do I want Brain Control against Amaryllis? Like, I don't want if they have an Amaryllis on the board. Like, I'm not... The only thing I can think of is if it's to bait out Titanium. And I just don't think it's worth it. Anyway, here Donnell flips his Pro Heavy. Summons Lone Fire, pop Lone Fire. Pop the other Lone Fire. He's going to get his baby mama, Titanium. Attacks Vinh's Card Trooper for 24. He drew Bottomless. He's going first, so you really, really want Bottomless against this matchup. Now Dnasty sets one, passes to Vinh. Let's see if that Brain Control comes in clutch. So here Vinh sets 2. You know Heavy's gone. Passes to Dnasty. There's a Vayu in there. Donnell playing on his finalist second place map from the basically our monthlies down in Copper's Cove, Texas. I have his deck profile from that tournament a couple months ago. Okay, so he hits him directly for 28. So one more hit from Titanium in its game. So let's see if Vinh will use that Brain Control next turn. So Donnell sets a monster. Most likely a Raikou, because if it's Titanium, he probably normal summons it. Maybe. But he could also be afraid of Torrential, so maybe it could be a Dandelion. So here he Torrentials he normal summons Sirocco, Torrentials. This is good for him. Now he has Brain Caius in his hand. And now he's going to bring out Armed Wing. So attacks Donnell for 23. So again, he's got Caius, Brain Control. So he sets one and passes to Dnasty. I think he's got Caius and Gale in his hand. Yeah, it looks like Caius Gale. Caius Gale, Brain Control. So Donnell summons Debris. So he set the Brain Control, which I was told you're not supposed to set brain control. I did set brain control in my top 8 match in RBT Denver. Those guys who watched the stream, because I was trying to bluff my opponent because my hand was so bad. Those guys who watched the stream, like my 2 backgrounds were a bluffed Heavy Storm and a bluffed brain control. And I never flipped my Heavy Storm against my opponent because I knew he had Starlight Road. He was playing way too aggressive with way too much confidence into my back rows. And I was right. I knew he had Starlight Road because he ended up trying to Starlight Road himself. And I was like, oh, I knew you had it. So, okay, 28-42. Vin's got Gale, Caius, and whatever he drew for his turn. This game could go either way. So he chooses to summon Greffer. Pokes him for 17. Wait, does he not have a Vayu? Couldn't he have won? Oh, Donnell had Gores anyway, but you could have pitched his Caius. Yeah, he could have pitched his Caius, send a Vayu, make Armor Master, special summon Gale, go for everything, and then if he drops a Gores, you have the Gores. Oof. Oof, not looking good for Vinh. I mean, you're at 28, so he shows a Mark of the Rose, Botanical Line. Yeah, he had a play, but Donnell had Gores, so it wouldn't have been game. But you could have stalled with Armor Master, though. Yeah, you could have made Armor Master. Donnell can't deal with his hand. I don't think he could deal with an Armor Master. Yeah, so it would have bought him turns, and then Donnell would have drawn another Miracle Fur. Yeah, the game would have dragged on. So, congrats to Donnell making top 4, but I only filmed 1 semifinals match. Donnell got paired off camera against Tristan, who was undefeated in the Swiss rounds on his channel debut. Tristan won. I think Lightsworn is a bad matchup for Amaryllis, so Tristan will be in the finals in his channel debut. 6-0. Came over from Advanced Yu-Gi-Oh! Went 6-0 with the Ryanite 40. Now, whose opponent will be in the finals is going to be me versus the Sheriff to see who will meet Tristan in the finals. Los and I both went X1. I can't remember who Los lost to. I just know I think Los lost to Vinh. Yes, Los lost to Vin's Vayu deck while I lost to Tristan. So we'll see who will make to the finals. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. And if you haven't already, please consider joining our members only. It's only $2.99 a month. I'm going to be uploading a bunch of War League videos on that one. I also have a coupon code for 5% off Yugioh singles and product at Epik Cards and Games. Those links are in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.